Holon was the mother of Genghis Khan, the founder of the Mongol Empire who led the world's strongest army and occupied the vast territory. She was not originally destined to become Genghis Khan's mother. She was a woman of the old Hunid clan of the Khanjred tribe and was supposed to marry Yakichilid, a nobleman of the Makhi tribe. Her husband-to-be was a good-looking, good-hearted, healthy young man. At that time, Mongolian custom was that the groom would be a son-in-law who lived with his wife's family, devoted himself to her family, and helped his bride with household problems. Holon was riding with her husband to her parents' home with great hopes, dreaming of a blissful newlywed life. But a group of other tribes arrived from far away. Yasuge, chieftain of the Bojigin over Kiat clan, and his armed men. The two newlyweds were afraid and hoped that the group would just pass by. However, the chief Yasuge, seeing the woman, fell in love with her beauty at first sight. The group rode their horses toward the couple. The woman was of course going to be taken away, and the two of them already knew very well that a man would be killed if caught. Holon told her fiancé to run away no matter what. But he couldn't run away from his new bride, even though he knew that he would be killed. While the husband hesitated, Holon whipped the rump of his horse, making the horse run away. Eventually, Yasuge captured Holon. Yasuge said that he liked the woman because she was beautiful, and ordered Holon to choose from two options. Yasuge gave Holon the choice of immediately becoming his wife or simply being killed. Holon was forced to becoming Yasuge's wife from that day on. And through her marriage to Yasuge, Holon had four sons: Temujin, Katsar, Kachiun, and Temujin. Temujin later became the world-conquering Genghis Khan. Meanwhile, the Makhis who had been robbed of Holon vowed to retaliate. It was only natural to kidnap a bride who was about to get married. After confirming where Temujin lived, the Makhis led their soldiers and attacked. Temujin barely survived and fled. But Temujin was robbed of his wife, Borte. The father had kidnapped Temujin's mother, but this time the son's wife was taken away. Temujin vowed to avenge his stolen wife. Temujin overcame the years of hardship and built up the forces of the tribe, eventually conquering Mokit and finally bringing back his wife Borte. But at the time she was rescued, Borte was pregnant. The child thus born was Genghis Khan's first son, Jochi. People around them were whispering and suspicious. Genghis Khan loved his wife Borte so much that he ignored the matter without mentioning it. He consciously believed that the son was his, and in his heart he longed for it to be true. Genghis Khan had a generous and big heart like a real man. Many believed that he would be able to conquer and pacify the world.
The act of forgiving any enemy if they surrendered in advance, but annihilating them if they rebelled and were hostile, made the enemies fearful and forced them to surrender, thereby pacifying the conflict. However, Jochi's brothers, who had to compete for the successor position, took a different position on the issue of not being Genghis Khan's biological son.
The biological sons of Genghis Khan constantly raised the issue by questioning the legitimacy of Jochi's roots. In this way, women were plundered by the Mongols. If you took a woman from one tribe, that tribe would take the women of another tribe in revenge. This Mongolian custom is called marriage by capture or plunder marriage.
Because of this experience, Genghis Khan later prohibited marriage by capture. In fact, marriage by capture was not only performed by nomadic tribes.
In Korea, there was a custom called basam. It was the act of kidnapping a woman living in someone else's house by wrapping her in a cloth. Basam refers to the customary remarriage process that took place during the Joseon dynasty, ancient Korea. At that time, widows could not remarry under state law. A woman had only one opportunity to marry in her lifetime.
So, especially old men who couldn't get married or men with physical defects, kidnapped widows who had lost their husbands and secretly married them. Some of the kidnappings were agreed upon in advance by both sides, while others were secret and forced. This practice is known as bosam. In fact, it is said that bosam was mostly planned in advance. In the Goryeo dynasty, women were free to remarry, but in the Joseon dynasty, remarriage was almost impossible. According to Confucianism, widows were not allowed to remarry until they died. The only way to remarry was bosam, which was actually illegal. When a widow was forcibly taken away and asked to live with a man, she had no choice, stealing a woman wrapped in cloth. Through this practice, the widow could start a new marriage with a new man. In modern time, kidnapping marriages or marriages by capture are strictly prohibited in all countries. However, in some nomadic cultures, kidnapping marriages are still a tradition, and it is said that they even take place in broad daylight. In Kyrgyzstan and Kazakhstan, there is a traditional marriage culture called alakachu, which means to catch a woman and run away. While it was a traditional cultural practice in the past, now this act is clearly a felony. The process is that when a man finds a woman he likes, he approaches her and confesses his feelings to her, and most women reject him. Then the man changes his method, plus the kidnapping with his friends, kidnaps the woman, goes home, and rejoices that his family has a bride. The woman struggles if she doesn't want it, but the white head covering, which signifies consent to the marriage, covers the female's head and the marriage is concluded. Meanwhile, the woman's family reports her missing. The police ignore the report, saying the practice is a long-standing tradition and common occurrence. It is thought that 20% of all marriages of women, or 1 in 5, were forced marriages due to alakachu, source UNDP. In the process, a woman was killed if she resisted to the end. In response to strong condemnation from the public in 2013, Kyrgyzstan further strengthened the punishment for alakachu.
Another example of connivance to these antiquated customs, justified by some as a tradition of nomads, is the act of lending a wife to a passing guest.
An outsider traveling long distances, either a foreigner or another trader, passes by a particular tribe. A guest is asking to stay overnight. The male head of the household allows it.
The visitor enters the tent. Inside the tent is a half-naked woman. The visitor is amazed. The visitor goes to the head of the household and asks what's going on.
The woman's husband tells the visitor not to decline the offer and to have fun and relax. The visitor rejoices and goes back into the tent. She has the option of refusing to sleep with the male guests as well, but she mostly agrees. Thank you for watching the video, The Marriage by Capture, provided by History and Current Events. I'm Rebecca, Mia, Katie, Leah, and Tony have contributed so far as narrators. Part 2 is coming out soon. Thank you.